People tried to bulk order to beat the tariffs. They was bulk ordering to beat the tariffs so they can get a lot of stuff in. They like, hey, send it. Bro, Apple ain't got 2 airplanes and filled them with iPhones, bro. They got 2 airplanes and filled them with iPhones. So here's what happens. Everybody can't do that. Here's why the slowdown happens. You a small, medium-sized business, you ain't gonna get that from there. You can't. So now, that's why we came up with the word last week, embargo. Recession or what? The majority of the U.S. CEOs now see a recession on the horizon. So in March, we had a mix. 7% was mixed, 9% said severe, 39% said slowdown, 23% said flat, 20% said mid-growth, 3% said strong growth. As of April, right now, 14% say severe, 48% says slowdown, 15% says max, 19% right now say we're gonna have mild growth. What are they looking at? And you still have 4% of people say we're gonna have strong growth. I just wanna know what they smoking. I wanna know what they smoking.
Hopeful of wishful thinking.
To see strong growth though, that gotta be obscene. To see, that's absurd.
It's delusional.
It's absurd because, great question. Watch this. Let's go to the thing about they waiting for the work at the ports. They're waiting on the work at the ports. So watch this. Shares of total containerized imports from China in 2024, Long Beach, so these are ports, Long Beach was 61%, San Francisco was 58%, Los Angeles was 51%. That's just in California, bro, right? So watch what I'm about to do here. Tacoma, Washington, 47%. Oakland, 37%. Seattle, 36%. Bro, look at all of them ports in California. Long Beach, San Francisco, Los Angeles, and Oakland. That's just in California. Now watch this, go a little further. Tampa, 36%. Boston, 30%. Mobile, Alabama, 31%. Savannah, Georgia, 29%. Houston, Texas, 25%. New York, New Jersey, 23%. Charleston, South Carolina, 21%. Norfolk, and Newport News, Virginia, 18%. Baltimore, 18%. Miami, 16%. New York, 16%. New Orleans, probably at 10%. Let's go a little further. Ocean container bookings from China to the U.S. are down 60% as of right now. Go a little further. That's industry-wide.
Total, that just
industry-wide. No, that's from China.
Oh, that's from China, okay.
Yeah, that's from China. But that's in all industries. Watch this. 95% of our toys come from China. Watch this. We had this other note already where we said 97% of key ingredients in drugs come from China, and 87% of antibiotic key ingredients come from China. Penicillin, amoxicillin, those things, right? Watch this. We import $600 billion a year from China and off the containers, which then gets sold on the market for $2 trillion. So let's make this make more sense. Watch this. You already see people cutting jobs. UPS just cut 20,000 jobs today. 20,000 jobs out of here, right? Watch this. So now, here's what you gotta start looking for. Companies now, if 60% of worldwide bookings from China are down, that means the containers that was coming from China here full, they not even coming here for no more. They not full. They 60% less. Think about that. So now a container that had 100% only got 40%. Why? Because the company's like, hey, we can't afford it. We can't afford the tariff on it. We can't afford it. So now, here's what happens. On the back end, here's what happens. Watch this. People order now for holidays. People order now for holiday season. So a lot of the stuff that's on contain, watch this. If anybody worked in a department store or something like that, you know they start selling summer stuff. They start getting them things in now. And in the summer, they start getting winter stuff. So that be on the boat. So now those holiday stuff, those seasonal, they coming now so they can start stocking and putting them together now. Guess what? They still in China. So now what happens? Most people try to bulk order, like Apple. Apple had planes with $4 billion worth of iPhones on them. Think about it. People tried to bulk order to beat the tariffs. No, they did. They was bulk ordering to beat the tariffs so they can get a lot of stuff in. They like, hey, send it. Bro, Apple went got 2 airplanes and filled them with iPhones, bro. They got 2 airplanes and filled them with iPhones. So here's what happens. Everybody can't do that. So now, here's why the slowdown happens. You a small, medium-sized business, you ain't gonna get that from there. You can't. So now, that's why we came up with the word last week, embargo. Because now China's saying, hey, we not, and America saying, y'all not. So now, nobody is getting the work from China. Because companies saying we can't do it, then you got some companies saying, we gonna get it, but we gonna put the price on the consumer. Well, guess what? If you firing people, unemployment going up, people can't afford because now they focused on what? Basic living. So if people focus on basic living, they don't have disposable income. So if you don't have disposable income, you not, watch this, GDP, gross domestic product, is import, export. If that slows down and people not spending money, you go into a shrinkage, which now causes what? Recession. So how can you have maximum growth if you're not getting the product? If you're not getting the product, you can't have maximum growth. And if the companies who getting all this stuff from China, remember, look what we said. Ocean container or OC bookings from China is down 60% across all industries. We import 600 billion. So here's the thing. That 600 billion turns into $2 trillion in money in the U.S. economy. You lose, if this keeps up, this is why Scott Bessent keeps saying this is unsustainable. If we lose $2 trillion of money moving around in the U.S., that also puts us in decline. You feel what I'm saying? So that's why you can't have strong growth. So then I wrote something else down for us that's going to be important. So here's something that China is doing. So right now, what China is doing to brace for it, I saw this and I said, oh, damn, that's dope. They playing the game raw. So I wrote this, damn, where is that? I hate when I have all this stuff in my phone, bro. Okay, so what China doing right now is, China is, they're gonna better distribute wages to workers in fields of urgent need. They're gonna boost entrepreneurship and vocational skills. They're also gonna give subsidiary companies that hired recent graduates incentives. Also, they're gonna give loans and financial support to boost confidence of all their people. They're gonna reduce operating costs like rent, and they're gonna assist to sell other products domestically. Meaning, they're gonna say, hey, because we're a manufacturing country, we're gonna help you sell your stuff in over here. This is the government. Now, I'm not saying America's good or bad or none of that. I'm just saying here's how their country is bracing for what is gonna happen. Here we go, man. 100 days of Trump, so Trump has now been in office 100 days. Bro, I was just listening to the MAGA speech. That dude said, I don't know whether to call him Sleepy Joe Biden or Crooked Joe Biden. I said, this dude gotta be kidding. He said he has one power that I never had. He could go to sleep at a drop of a dime.
Bro, he's still shooting the man. The man at home laying down, sleep too, probably. He's still shooting.
Hey, bro, he said Joe got one superpower I never thought I'd never have. He said he could go to sleep at the drop of a dime. I said, this guy gotta be stopped. This is a rally, bro. What are you doing, bro?
Sinister.
He going crazy. All right, but let's go, man. So here's the thing. He's not the worst, right? So as of now, the market is down negative 7.9%. But think about it. Franklin D. Roosevelt was worse than him at 0.78. I mean, minus 10%, twice. Minus 9%, minus 10%. And President Ford had minus 11%, and President Nixon had 9%. So in the first 100 days, he's not the worst. He is 1, 2, 3, 4. He's fifth on the list. Not bad. But watch this. Return-wise, first 100 days. So we had Roosevelt. Truman had 10%. Kennedy had 8%. Biden had 8%. Obama had 8%. Bush had 8%. Trump 2017 had 5% in his first 100 days. Reagan 85, 5%. Clinton 3.2%. Johnson 2.9%. Eisenhower and Reagan. And then you had Carter minus 4. Truman minus 4. Eisenhower 58. Bush, Trump, Nixon. That's just how it looks. So he's been on both sides of the 100-day joint. You know what I'm saying? Yep, let's go a little further. Big declines are followed by big profits. And we talked about this a while back, but peak to trough, so peak means high, trough means low. From peak to trough, 1 year decline, through trough, 2 years from the trough. So what it's basically saying is a big decline from November 48, 21%, and then you saw 40% a year later. In July 53 to May 54, you saw a 15% decline and bounced back. 39% in 1 year, 98% in 2 years. If we go to most recent, February 20, we had a 34% decline at the bottom. And then in 1 year, from that peak to that trough, meaning from that high to that low, you saw from a 75% to 99% return. Right? That's from the biggest high to the low in a 1 year and 2 year time frame. So, and the reason why I showed this was because I talked about something, and we talked about just being able to endure these pullbacks. Of course, every time has a different catalyst to it, right? Every situation has a different reason why it happened. What we gotta be willing to do is say, hey, let me navigate through this. Now, my girl Nettie up in here, and I said something, and she went and found it for me, Jose, what I said in a group. Well, I said, it was the next day, I said, I don't think it. She DM'd it to me, so Nettie, thank you for that. She went fishing and found it in the group. Well, I said, I don't think we're going back to the 48 and the 14.
Mm-hmm.
She said, Trap, I went and found it for you. So she showed it to me. I'm going to get it so we can put it up. I forgot to get it. But I don't think we're going back to that. I think that was the biggest, you know what I'm saying? I think from now now I'm not saying never again, I'm just saying in this situation.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Let me make sure I clarify that. Right? I'm talking about in this round of events, I don't think we go back there. I think we navigate through that. I think the market has priced that in. I think the low was 4,800 on the S&P, 4,800. I think that was the low. And I think 14, let me see what it is. I think we stand on business. So the low was, I don't think we go back to 48 and 14. It was at 14.9, that was the low, and 48. I don't think we go. Right now we at 55 on the S&P, 5,560. The NASDAQ, we on 17,460. So we were at literally 48. That is crazy. Yep, there you go right there. So watch this. Listen, Liberation Day, which was April 2nd, we had a That is insane, bro. The maximum drawdown was 14%, bro, in less than a month, bro. A 14% drawback, 14.5% drawdown in less than a month. Yeah. Yep, 4802. I don't think we go back to that. But here we go. As of now, we have nearly recaptured that back. We've captured half of that back in a 2-week time frame. We've kind of captured that back. We started recapturing it back when the bonds hit 10. When the 10-year note hit 4 or 5, we started capturing that back. So we kind of back on it. So